Welcome. My name is John C. Worthington, and this is part 9 in my spirit release about muscle testing of John's. I recommend that you listen to this whole spirit release from start to beginning to gain the greatest truth from it, as well as the greatest understanding, and thus gaining the greatest pure truth and freedom from it. This is a spirit release, so every time that I say the words I, me, my, or myself, that is really my spirit or our spirit, the Holy Ghost if you choose, saying those words, and I'm just reciting them for them. This spirit release part 9 began on April 18th, 2014 at 11:02 a.m. and ended at 2:47 a.m. on the 19th of April 2014. Muscle testing is the measurement of what within your physical being lives and exists as human health, freedom, pure truth, and strength, and what within your physical being exists and lives as human disease, illusion, falsehood, and weakness, within each and every human situation while you are still free breathing. Because muscle testing is the measurement of what within your physical being lives and exists as human pure truth freedom and free pure truth, as well as what within your physical being exists and lives as human falsehood illusion and illusion falsehood, within each and every human situation while you are still free breathing. For muscle testing is the measurement of what within your physical being lives and exists as the all of health, freedom, pure truth, and strength, living within absolute freedom and whole pure truth, in comparison to what within your physical being exists and lives as the everything of disease, illusion, falsehood, and weakness. Yet muscle testing is the measurement of what within your physical being lives and exists as human disease, illusion, falsehood, and weakness, existing and living within human health, freedom, pure truth, and strength, when muscle testing accurately. And muscle testing is the measurement of what within your physical being lives and exists as the greatest guide to the creation of the very, very, very greatest human health, freedom, pure truth, and strength, as well as existing and living as the greatest guide to the manifestation of the very, very, very least human disease, illusion, falsehood, and weakness, when muscle testing accurately. And muscle testing is your physical being, and muscle testing is the measurement of what within your physical being lives and exists as measured physical muscle strength versus weakness, that accurately scientifically measures exactly what within human beings and humanity measures as human health, freedom, pure truth, and strength, while also accurately scientifically measuring exactly what within human beings and humanity measures as human disease, illusion, falsehood, and weakness, when muscle testing accurately. And muscle testing is the measurement of what within your physical being lives and exists as the you who you have always wanted to be, have always wanted within yourself to be, when you were being absolute freedom and whole pure truth, living as pure truth freedom and free pure truth. And muscle testing is the measurement of what within your physical being lives and exists as pure truth freedom and free pure truth, living within absolute freedom and whole pure truth, when accurately muscle testing accurately. And muscle testing is the measurement of what within your physical being lives and exists within absolute freedom and whole pure truth as the very, very, very greatest human health, freedom, pure truth, and strength, and as the very, very, very least human disease, illusion, falsehood, and weakness, when muscle testing accurately. And muscle testing is the measurement of what within your physical being lives and exists for the all of health, freedom, pure truth, and strength, and what exists and lives for the everything of disease, illusion, falsehood, and weakness, when muscle testing accurately. And muscle testing is the measurement of what within your physical being lives and exists and lives as the all and the everything. And therefore, now, as you are still free breathing, be The you who you have always wanted to now start to begin to be within yourself free, as you have again always wanted to now begin to start being when you have now started to begin being within this very free moment of the now, when you can become the exact human being who you now want to become within pure truth and freedom, by you now at this very moment becoming who you have always wanted within pure truth and freedom, now to start to begin becoming within absolute freedom and whole pure truth, free pure truth, living within the very, very, very greatest human health, freedom, pure truth and strength, as freedom, freedom, freedom. Continuing on with that same time period. Muscle testing as a human being within human life produces the very, very, very greatest human self-life, health, freedom, pure truth, and strength. The same as muscle testing as a human being within human life produces the very, very, very greatest human self-life, pure truth, freedom, and free pure truth. Living within absolute freedom and whole pure truth. And muscle testing as a human being within humanity, within human life, produces the very, very, very greatest human self-life, absolute freedom, and whole pure truth that is humanly possible. And muscle testing as a human being within human life produces the very, very, very least human self-life disease, illusion, falsehood, and weakness. And muscle testing as a human being within human life produces the very, very, very least human self-life, falsehood, illusion, and illusion, falsehood, living within absolute freedom and whole pure truth. And muscle testing as a human being within human life produces the very, very, very least human self-life, suffering and pain and suffering. And muscle testing as a human being within human life produces the very, very, very greatest human self-life, joy and pleasure and joy. And muscle testing as a human being within human life produces the very, very, very greatest human self-life likelihood of humanity creating human utopia on our planet Earth. And muscle testing as a human being within human life produces the very, very, very human self-life probability of humanity manifesting human bliss on our planet Earth. And muscle testing as a human being within human life produces the very, very, very human self-life action of humanity becoming pure truth, freedom, and free pure truth, living within absolute freedom and whole pure truth. As the humanity that we have always wanted to be within pure truth and freedom. And muscle testing as a human being within human life produces a very, very, very human self-life enlightenment that we, the free-breathing human beings of humanity, have always wanted to achieve. And muscle testing as a human being within human life produces a very, very, very human self-life future that we, the free-breathing human beings of humanity, have always wanted to create and manifest here on planet Earth. When we were being pure truth, freedom, and free pure truth, living within absolute freedom and whole pure truth, along with the all of health, freedom, pure truth, and strength. And muscle testing as a human being within human life produces the very, very, very human self-life now that we, the free-breathing human beings of humanity, have always wanted to manifest and create here on our planet Earth, when we were absolute freedom and whole pure truth, living within the all of absolute freedom and whole pure truth. And muscle testing as a human being within human life produces a very, very, very human self-life that we, the free-breathing human beings of humanity, have always wanted as our free-breathing self-life. And therefore, now, do try muscle testing for yourself so you can be the human being who you have always wanted to now live as pure truth, freedom, and free pure truth, to begin to start to now press, now live as pure truth freedom and free pure truth, to begin to start to be truly the human being who you have always wanted to free within yourself when you then were absolute freedom and whole pure truth, to now, as you still free breathe, begin to start being freely the human being who you now want within pure truth freedom and free pure truth, to start to begin being the you who you are free, to begin to start to now start to become within this very now that you are now still free breathing within at the time that you hear or read the spirit release, and begin to become the exact human being who you have always wanted to be within pure truth and freedom, as absolute freedom and whole pure truth, living within the now of the all of becoming absolute freedom and whole pure truth, now with the all of health, freedom, pure truth, and strength, becoming the very, very, very greatest human being that you can humanly become, as free pure truth and pure true freedom, freedom, freedom. We are going to just continue on. We're on that same part that I had noted at the beginning. Same dates. Muscle testing lives free within pure truth and pure truth within freedom. Muscle testing lives free within pure truth and pure truth within freedom, for humanity to utilize for free pure truth and pure truth freedom, as humanity freely chooses, and as humanity can accurately muscle test, because muscle testing lives free within pure truth and pure truth within freedom, like free pure truth and pure truth freedom, and as humanity can accurately muscle test. Although muscle testing lives free within pure truth and pure truth within freedom, only as humanity can accurately muscle test. And muscle testing lives free within pure truth and pure truth within freedom, to give human beings the very, very, very greatest human health, freedom, pure truth, and strength that is humanly possible within the all of health, freedom, pure truth, and strength, living within absolute freedom and whole pure truth, as a pure truth freedom and free, as pure truth freedom and free pure truth. And muscle testing lives free within pure truth and pure truth within freedom, to guide all living forms to the very, very, very greatest health, freedom, pure truth, and strength. And muscle testing lives free within pure truth and pure truth within freedom. So, since you also live free within pure truth and pure truth within freedom, as a free breathing human being of muscle, who always wanted to be the human being who you are within absolute freedom and whole pure truth. And since muscle testing alone, like nothing that you have ever imagined, could be true within physical reality, can quite truly and quite accurately guide you and each and every other human being to creating the manifestation of the very, very, very greatest human health, freedom, pure truth, and strength within you and each and every other human being individually and within humanity as a whole, manifesting the creation of what could be understood as heaven on earth, or human utopia on earth. You have the free choice to muscle test accurately and for the greatest health, freedom, pure truth, and strength for yourself, as well as for the all of health, freedom, pure truth, and strength, since this is the absolute only way to muscle test accurately. And therefore, now be free by. And one more thing. Have you read or heard about John's postulate about motion being equivalent to time, and time being equivalent to gravity, and gravity being equivalent to mass, and mass being equivalent to energy, which itself is truly only, again, motion, by another of John's postulates? and energy or motion being equivalent to consciousness. Which brings us back to motion. Now being free too. Or have you heard or read about John's description of how our universe, as measurable by human beings, is everlasting? Simply because the faster it expands, the more our time dilates, creating always more. Or have you read or heard John's postulate on how our universe is always increasing in total overall energy, simply because more motion at expanding rates, as well as more motion over longer periods of motion or time, always increases the total overall energy or motion? Or have you heard or read John's postulate about light speed being always constant, simply because light photons are always emitted and received instantly, which means that absolutely no time or motion passes during the instant of no time that happens whenever light photons are emitted or received, causing their speed to always be measured at a constant velocity, no matter the velocity of the emitter or receiver. And all this happens without any need for there to be any physical length contraction or mass expansion at higher velocities of the speed of a moving object. For this then brings me to John's postulate that is only the kinetic energy of greater motions or velocity inherent in faster moving objects that causes the overall increase in the object's energy or motion or mass, if you must, for they are each equivalent, while it remains moving at a faster rate of motion, which then leads into John's postulate that is the motion of the stuff, quantum and otherwise, within the space that curves, and not the actual space itself, as this would then invalidate all the laws of physics. That is, if the space or coordinate system is always changing and variable, then the laws of physics must also always be changing and variable, or simply no longer laws of physics. For it is only the laws of the physics of humanity that I am talking and writing about here. Because what do you think scientific muscle testing is, if not a human example of the laws of the physics being put into practice for greater human health, freedom, pure truth, and strength? To now become. Well now, have you heard or read about John's postulate that notes that human beings can create a gravity machine inside an opposite spinning gravity machine to manifest what can be called a flying saucer? Or have you heard or read about John's postulate that notes that human beings can create a functional perpetual motion or free energy machine by combining 3 gravity machines together? For these are each and all pure truth and freedom. Now becoming. Please now, really now. There is no time like now, for now is only true time. That time or motion truly exists and lives within, as motion or energy or time. Free pure truth and pure truth and pure true. Free pure truth and pure true. I ask you only one more time now. Please, won't you try holding God's or our universe all's hand in return for the very, very, very greatest guidance to human health, freedom, pure truth, and strength? Because muscle testing is the equivalent to your physical hand-holding of the all of health, freedom, pure truth, and strength. Strength's hand in return for the very, very, very greatest guidance of human health, freedom, pure truth, and strength. Free pure truth and pure true. Freedom, freedom, freedom. Blessings to all, and God bless, and the all bless America and us all. And please, muscle test me on my postulates. Do it scientifically, do it by empirical double-blinded methods, or you just write down what I've said in a sealed envelope, and then, or in 20 or 50 or 13 or 25 envelopes, and then go ahead and have them all muscle tested by people that have no idea what they're muscle testing, so that you get sure and repeatable, peer verifiable measurement of the muscle strength events and the muscle weakness events that meet or exceed any current to date modern scientific empirical measurement methods of what is a physical event within humanity. Muscle test me on it.